Assalamu alaikum, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Mecca Media Morning Show. I am your host, Heck of a Mecca, and today we have our brother Cat Israel with us. He is the political analyst on our team, on the Mecca Media team. So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 6'3", 2 I'm the new political correspondent. Our show's called Politically Speaking with Cat Israel. We're going to get in depth about talking to some politicians about what direction we want to go for our local communities and focus on the national politics when it comes to voting and issues that affect our communities locally and nationally.
Hey man, here's what's dope. Let me, can I interject right quick?
Yes.
Here's what's so dope is you think I'm gonna edit that little bumble out.
No, I want
I'm
you to
not.
put it in there.
We gotta keep it in because we gotta let people know this is real and these
Right.
are gonna be real topics, real concepts from real people, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mecca. Go ahead.
Okay, so what is it that made you want to get into this? Like, is this something you always wanted to do, or is this something that just came about? So why is it that you're into political stuff?
Political stuff. Well, it wasn't necessarily my idea to get into it at first. In 2013, I joined an organization called Organizers for America, which was a president's program that he made to deal with issues in the local community, pretty statewide, across the board. I could say in 2012, I kind of had a taste of it a little bit when it came to the national election with Barack Obama. So I kind of watched and observed and learned a lot of tricks of the trade, I should say. Late in 2013, I could say I wasn't really feeling it so much. But in 2014, I kind of got a little cable jump a little bit, I should say. And I kind of wanted to tackle the issues because I felt like those particular issues were affecting my life personally. So I wanted to make a stand, per se, and do something for my community that was bigger than myself. So I ended up working with Barack Obama for a couple of years, 2.5 years to be exact. And over the course of that time, we dealt with a lot of issues. I had contact with a lot of politicians. And in saying that, I learned a lot politically, not just locally, but statewide, particularly statewide.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
And can I interrupt, Mecca?
Yes.
So with those issues and that experience that you learned with Barack Obama, is that stuff you're gonna help bring to our neck of the woods?
Of course.
Go ahead, Mecca. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You made me lose my question. It's okay though. Well, what can we do to help with that? So I know you probably are really into voting and that type of political stuff.
Good point. Good point.
Well, I mean,
so
you can
basically
tackle
what she
voting.
said, here's a good topic, here's a good thing. She don't vote like that.
Right.
So how can you get her interested or people like her interested in why it's important that us as a people vote?
Oh, good question. Well, I felt like that too in 2013, early 2014. I felt that my voice wasn't being heard. People who represented me was not really tackling the issues that I wanted to tackle personally. And in my neighborhood, that's one of the reasons why I had joined the organization, so I could put my stamp on those particular topics. When it comes to voting, I try to do a broad perspective when I pitch my ideals to not only politicians but to the people. One thing I always say first is wherever issues you want to deal with as an individual, as a community, as a society, be engaged with those issues. Like for example, when I first came in with Barack Obama, the first issue that I tackled was gun violence prevention. And in gun violence prevention, it was a lot of killings that was happening in the city of Akron, late 2013, early 2014. And I kind of got tired of seeing young black men being shot. And, with the police issue, with unarmed black men and things of that nature, I wanted to engage our community as far as finding ways to lower the number of homicides within the city I wanted to have some type of law enforcement community relationship to where we can have some type of interaction to prevent unnecessary deaths. For example, we had an event August 2013. Was it 13? No, it's 14. Excuse me. Where we passed out pamphlets to black men in particular to how to engage law enforcement with being pulled over, knowing your rights, knowing the Bill of Rights, knowing what you can and cannot do, and being acute about, at the end of the day, you have a right to remain silent. And use your lawyers, please. Don't engage law enforcement if you don't have to. I understand, people seem there's stereotypes out there depicting black men as criminals and things of that nature. So I wanted to at least give them some type of information to prevent them from making it worse than what it already is. Obviously, you're getting pulled over. So,
Right.
for example, so in 2014, I had a chance to go to a Senate hearing on Stand Your Ground, and I voted against Stand Your Ground because the way it was written within the bill, it wasn't, how can I say this? It wasn't a good bill when it comes to protecting citizens from being shot by law enforcement and having confrontations with others. The letter of the law wasn't clear enough to depict who was innocent, who was guilty.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to go back to what you said about the pamphlets and passing out to everybody and what they should do when being stopped by a police officer. So what is it that should be done when being stopped by a police officer?
Well, that's a good question. For one, I always say you have a right to remain silent. So don't talk to law enforcement like they're friends. They're not your friend. They're officers of the law. Their job is to enforce law and codes and statutes in the state of Ohio and local municipalities. That's the number one thing I say. You have your license, registration, things of that nature. Keep your hands in plain view, and don't knee jerk, and don't try not to have an attitude with law enforcement.
What's a knee jerk?
Knee jerk is when you are having confrontation with law enforcement and you move suddenly too fast. What I mean by that, if your hands are not being seen by law enforcement, they automatically think a threat. They don't know what you're going for. You can be going for a license, you can be going for a firearm or a weapon of that nature. Fernando Castle was a guy in Minnesota that was a CCW permit holder, and he ended up being killed because according to what they were saying, Fernando Castle was going for his license and registration and not a firearm.
Right.
And of course, a law enforcement agency said otherwise,
Right.
but I feel that in those situations, if you feel threatened by law enforcement, it's a pretty good idea to ask them, hey, can I step out the car? I don't feel comfortable, reaching for my license and registration in my back pocket. Can we at least come outside the car so I don't get shot?
Right. Right.
Things of that nature. Be respectful. If they're trying to entice you or escalate the situation, try to de-escalate the situation and speak less as possible.
Right.
If,
And I'm sorry, but don't take that as being a punk or anything like that. You have to be smart when dealing with police officers. So be respectful. Don't be disruptive, okay? So let the people know where exactly the show will be, how they can contact you, what days it's going to be published. The show.
That's a good question.
We're in the building.
Well, the show will be coming soon. I think you said Mondays. Monday evenings. The show's going to be in Monday evenings. And we're going to tackle with interviewing council people, politicians that represent city government, state government, federal government, if we can get them. We're going to be tackling issues that affect our communities. We're going to have topics, current topics of current agendas that's happening on the news, and we're going to depict on issues that affect us as a community. And African Americans, because African Americans need a voice too.
Right.
So I wanted to be that voice to tackle politics within an African American perspective.
That's right. So you guys can see him on Monday evenings. Again, this is Kat Israel and I'm Heck of a Mecca. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Mecca Media Morning Show. And until next time, be the peace that you seek. Peace out.